Oh, you do music? That's amazing. And what else do you do apart from it, like a job? If you've ever frozen at that question, half smiling, half dying inside, you're not alone. Because somehow, doctor, engineer, or a marketing executive sounds like a job. But a musician, that's just a hobby or a temporary obsession. Let's talk about why that happens and how you can own your own identity as a musician without feeling the need to justify it every single time. Let's go. The first thing to know is it's not about you. It's just about their lens. I am an IT engineer, and when I shifted to music full time, my grandmother was the person who asked, "Oh, that's amazing, but what do you do for a job?" And I said, "Music." And then she's like, "Oh, nice. And what do you do for a job?" And I'm like, "Music." And then she's like, "Yeah, that's good, but what for a job?" And so that's how it always continued, and I had to explain it to her properly. Because again, it's not her fault. Because for most people, music is seen as an extracurricular activity. For them, their whole experience of music has just been either doing it as a hobby, singing in their school or in their colleges, or seeing the established singers singing on the reality shows or on official films and stuff like that. So when they see you in the midst of all of that, it almost seems like a pipe dream. So what else do you do is not actually an insult, it's just a lack of their exposure to these creative careers. So don't take it personally. Take it as a reminder that you actually see the world very differently. And try to remember, a calm and confident answer often changes the perspective a lot more than a defensive one. So be sure to tell them in full when they ask you about your job. I am a musician and I do it 9 to 5. Actually 24 hours because that's my full-time job and I love it. Remember, in these kinds of talks, confidence and articulation are half the battle. So if you sound unsure of what you do, others will tend to reflect that energy like a mirror. So if you're saying things like, "Oh yeah, it is my, that is my full-time job," it's just an opportunity for the other person to go like, "Yeah, right, very nice, because there's a lot of struggle in this," and you don't want to entertain that sort of a conversation because you are a full-time musician and you should be very proud of it because it is a complete job on its own. Remember, confidence and articulation are half of the battle when it comes to talks like these. If you are unsure of what you're doing and what you're saying, then it tends to reflect on the other person and their energy towards your job as well. So be sure to use some of the generic terms, but a lot of the industry terms so that it sounds way more professional. You can use terms like royalties, sync licensing when talking about music production, or in cases of live performances, talk about the different kinds of events that you do, which might include corporates, weddings, private events, or something else like a concert. Your tone should always say, "I know what I'm doing," even if you might not understand it yet. Also, as a tip, practice a one-liner that feels very authentic to you, which does not come off as too arrogant or too humble. So it might be something like, "Oh, I make music full-time. I sing in multiple languages for corporate events, weddings and parties, private parties. And also I do music production, which is creating music for the TV commercials that you see and web series." And you might redirect them to one of the things that you have done so they can check it out or feel even more interested in your music business. Sometimes the question hits deeper because we ourselves have doubts about the sustainability, the scalability of this career as a musician. And whenever you work in a creative field, imposter syndrome is just very natural. You tend to always self-doubt if you are that person who's supposed to be running this whole music business, if this is the right path, if you are actually making it, or is it just in the moment and it's all gonna come crashing down. All these questions are very easy to get stuck up in your mind and create that defensive response when someone actually asks you what you do for a living. So it might actually be very important for you to sit down and reflect on why does this specific question trigger you. Because for me, when people kept asking me the same thing again and again, and I used to get very defensive about it initially, I figured out I was scared that I couldn't sustain in a music business. So that led me to think about more opportunities. how I can increase my income sources as a musician, which I have a video on if you haven't checked it out already, and I'll just link it in the description or somewhere around here. And that understanding actually gives you the confidence that's needed to answer these questions without getting triggered. Also, when someone asks you a question like that, it's your chance to redefine what profession means. In the modern world, the lines are pretty blurred because in the modern world, YouTube creators, social media influencers, and indie artists are all professionals. The older mindset just hasn't caught up yet. So rather than waiting for their validation, just improve on your craft and your sources so you feel a lot more secure when someone asks you a question like that. Also, if the person is genuinely curious, then use that opportunity to educate him or her. I've had so many parties where I've just gone as a singer and ended up having long 2-hour conversations past my performance time about my business, with them having such different businesses but being so interested in my particular line of work and how the whole music industry works in general, that they became long-time friends and business assets in the long term. I've gone in as a singer and come out as a friend. So use this opportunity to your best advantage rather than feeling stuck up and resentful because of someone asking that question. Use it to turn the tide and win them over in your journey. The goal isn't to convince everyone that music is a real job. The goal is not even related with anyone else. It's a personal goal that you must set for yourself on how you want to proceed in your music career, what you want to do, and it should be a very individual choice based on your needs and your wants from life. So tell me, have you ever had someone ask you, but what's your real job? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. This is Music in Progress. If you're figuring out your journey as well, come along with me, hit subscribe, and we'll go on the journey together.